Welcome to Books for Success. Today, we're unraveling the insights from You Had Me at Woof by Julie Klam. The most loyal friend you can have in your life will have 4 legs. Dogs aren't just animals but faithful companions, a shoulder to cry on, and company when times are tough. New York native and best-selling author Julie Klam quickly realized that her life would never be complete without a small army of dogs within her family. If you adore 4-legged friends, you'll undoubtedly be able to truly understand Julie Klam's story. Learning about compromise, compassion, empathy, and love from the dogs in her life, You Had Me at Woof is a genuinely relatable read. With every new dog, a new lesson was learned. In the end, you might want to welcome a new addition into your home too. If you find our content valuable, like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. Don't be shy about dropping your book suggestions for us to summarize. Let's grow and succeed together. Dogs, cute but also insightful. They say you're either a dog person or a cat person. Of course, you can be both, but most people have a preference. Julie Klam is a dog person, for sure. Being unable to look a dog in the eye and not wanting to take it home is a problem for many people. But have you ever stopped to think that maybe dogs have more to teach us than we realize? We assume that dogs are just cute and cuddly. They're soft, wonderful to stroke, and they're always happy when we return home at the end of a long day. However, dogs are loyal, fiercely protective, loving, and empathetic. These are all qualities that humans should have, but many don't use them. In that case, perhaps we could all do with taking a leaf out of a dog's book. You Had Me at Woof is the story of a woman who not only adores dogs but found that she learned a new life lesson with every dog she fostered. Either long-term or short-term. Full of ups and downs, laughs and tears, our pet dogs can teach us about love, true heartfelt happiness, loyalty, and, of course, sadness too. For Julie Klam, it all started with Otto, a cute yet demanding Boston Terrier who not only stole her heart but taught her what it would be like to be in a long-term relationship. Even when she married and had a child of her own, dogs continued to show her new ways to enrich her life while helping them at the same time. By the end of You Had Me at Woof, you'll almost certainly be a dog person. Your dog becomes your best friend and supporter. One word that sums up a dog's character is loyalty. Dogs are loyal to the end. And some dogs are highly protective, even to the point of not allowing another person near you. You can have a grumpy dog, an overly excitable dog, or a dog that swings from mood to mood, depending upon the day. Dogs have their own personalities and moods, just like humans. However, one thing is for sure: your dog will be your biggest cheerleader and best friend in life. Always happy to see you come home and always at your side, your pet dog will become your crutch throughout life. Julie Klam became highly attached to her first Boston Terrier, Otto. She thought about him whenever she wasn't at home and tended to his every need. He had lots of quirks in his personality, and she noticed a new one almost every week as he grew older. Otto loved to play ball in the garden, and his favorite food was salmon. He wasn't fussy about how it was cooked either. Dogs have the power to make you laugh when you're feeling down. They somehow have a sixth sense when something isn't quite right with you. Often sitting beside you silently, perhaps with their head on your knee. They offer comfort in a powerful yet silent way. Otto taught her the main fundamentals of a relationship. She learned that you need to compromise and sometimes have to put your needs to one side, even if you don't want to. She gained strength from knowing that she had someone waiting for her at the door when she returned home and began to realize that she could have a successful relationship when the time was right. Did you know? According to Statista, around 63 million U.S. households owned a dog in 2020. Staying emotionally unattached with dogs is impossible. When you spend time with a dog, it's almost impossible not to become emotionally unattached. That is even harder if the dog in question has been with you for a long time or has complex needs. Julie Klam was pregnant with her first child when Otto unexpectedly passed away. There were no warning signs, and the shock hit her hard. She would look at other dogs and feel sad, even wondering whether Otto would somehow be reincarnated in another dog's form. She quickly realized that every dog has its own traits and quirks. Throughout her pregnancy, she felt a huge void that Otto had left. She was even worried that her baby would somehow be harmed by the negative feelings she was experiencing and concluded that there was only one way to feel better. She wanted a new dog. Everyone told her to wait, even her husband, but a new Boston Terrier puppy named Beatrice soon joined their family. Beatrice was utterly different from Otto but just as wonderful. The puppy would often lay across her pregnant belly and sleep next to her unborn daughter. After the baby was born, the family had to learn how to juggle caring for a newborn and a young dog simultaneously. As life with a newborn became easier to manage, Julie Klam and her husband wanted to get a second dog, but money and time constraints held them back. They looked into volunteering to foster rescue dogs, and despite initial reservations, they went for it anyway. They quickly learned that it is impossible to keep your feelings to one side when caring for a dog. Dogs and babies have a lot in common. As their daughter, Violet, became a little older, she told her parents that she didn't want them to foster dogs anymore. She wanted the attention the dogs were getting, but also, when a dog left the household to go to another owner, she found it hard to say goodbye. They all felt the same. As Violet was about to start kindergarten, Julie Klam began to understand just how much dogs are like children. They're by your side most of the day, you feel separation anxiety when they're away from you, and you have to tend to all their basic needs. She thought back to how she felt when Otto was alive and drew significant similarities between caring for Otto and Violet, despite one being a dog and one being human. Perhaps this is why so many people underestimate the responsibility of having a dog. Yes, they look cute, and they like to play in the garden. But you also need to ensure that they're eating correctly, getting enough water, going to the toilet as they should, and getting enough exercise. You need to look for specific health concerns and watch their behavior to spot any telltale signs that something isn't quite right with them. Just as babies can't talk to you and tell you what's wrong, they can only cry. A dog is not much different. Despite all the times the family decided they would no longer foster dogs, they kept agreeing whenever a call came in. Dogs are truly addictive, and Julie Klam found it almost impossible to look at a dog that needed a home and turn it away. Rescue dogs require extra care and attention, but it's worth it. Rescue dogs have been through a lot in their lives. The family often received calls about new dogs needing a temporary home, and they didn't know much about the dog's background. However, upon watching the dog's behavior, they could often work out what the dog might have gone through with previous owners. Many dogs arrive at foster homes traumatized by past experiences, which often shows in erratic behavior or extreme timidness. The family fostered a dog called Rascal, who was very quiet and refused to respond to his name. Julie Klam thought that if they changed his name, he might start to respond differently, so they renamed him Moses. Almost instantly, he became a different dog. For a long time, Moses wouldn't go to the bathroom correctly, and despite the worry, the family knew that they needed to give him time to adjust. Eventually, he started to settle in and relax. This is often the case with rescue dogs, but realizing that you have given a dog a home and helped it to find faith in humans again is overwhelming. Violet had mixed feelings about Moses. He often wanted to be around her mother, and she became jealous of his attention. But she was as heartbroken as the rest of the family when Moses escaped his leash one day and ran out into the street. He was hit by a car and unfortunately didn't survive. The heartbreaking story of the Rainbow Bridge. When a dog dies, we often hear the story of the Rainbow Bridge. When Moses died, Julie Klam would often think about the story, which comforted her. The Rainbow Bridge is where all animals go when they die. It is heaven for animals, a holding place until they can be reunited with their owner. At the Rainbow Bridge, there is a vast amount of green space for animals to run and play with each other, and they have all the food and drink they could need. Even dogs who were sick and injured when they died are fit and healthy once more. However, the animals who spend their time at the Rainbow Bridge have an aching in their hearts for their owner. They miss them and often think about them. One day, when they're playing with the other animals, they suddenly stop. Their ears prick up, their eyes dance, and they run as fast as their legs carry them. They see their owner, and they're reunited once again. From that point, you and your pet are always together, moving on from the Rainbow Bridge together. Julie Klam has had many dogs, but every time one dies, the pain is the same. The responsibility of having a dog is something you should take very seriously indeed. A dog's life is relatively short compared to a human's, and it's your responsibility to ensure their years are comfortable and full of joy and happiness. Puppies may be adorable, but they're a world of trouble. Puppies are cute and have a wonderful smell, but do not assume that they can't cause chaos in your house. Julie Klam was asked to take care of 2 unbroken puppies. That means they had not been trained in any way at all. Within a short space of time, they had made a total mess of the house and eaten the computer power cord. Puppies take a tremendous amount of time and patience, but watching them grow and develop is truly rewarding. One of the dogs that the family fostered had puppies of her own. Even though the whole experience of giving birth was terrifying, seeing tiny puppies being reared by their mother was beautiful. Julie Klam realized at that moment that dogs are a lot like humans when it comes to looking after their young. The dog turned into a mother protector and encouraged her puppies to feed, sleep, play, and grow. Even though there were concerns about the mother's milk, the family supported the puppies and didn't want to sell them when they were old enough to be separated from their mother. So they kept them all and became a huge family, all going out to the beach together and creating happy memories. Is that the end of Julie Klam's dog fostering adventure? No, she continues to foster dogs that need her attention. There seems to be something very addictive about the deep brown eyes of a dog. Conclusion. Julie Klam's story teaches us that we can all learn a lot from dogs, from being more loyal and faithful to how to be more loving and patient. Dogs are quiet protectors sent to watch over us. However, that means we also have to do our part and look after them. Having a dog is a huge responsibility. Far too many people underestimate just how much work is involved in caring for a dog because it's not just about playing in the park and cuddling. It's about visits to the vets, worries when they're not well, and the colossal sadness when their days are over. Julie Klam and her family took a considerable step to foster dogs in need. The emotional toll was enormous, but each dog found a loving home and caring owners. There is a reason why many dogs become support animals. The strength and companionship they provide are second to none. A child growing up with a dog will always have a best friend by their side. An older person with a dog as a companion will never be lonely. In so many ways, we can say that dogs are silent, kind of, angels. They may not be able to speak words of comfort when you're feeling down, but their presence gives you the sense that you're not alone. They teach you about sacrifice and compromise. And just like Julie Klam, you'll find that you quickly become addicted to the deep and soulful eyes of a dog. Try this. Every dog is different, but many breeds have traits. Do some research into dog breeds and find your ideal match. Try a little doggy massage. Dogs love to be tickled behind their ears as it helps them to relax. Think very carefully before you decide to get a dog. Do you have the time? Be honest, as a dog will depend on you for everything. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey. If you've enjoyed our summary, consider reading the full book for a more in-depth exploration. Before you go, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and share this video with someone who could benefit from these insights. Until next time, keep reading, keep learning, and keep growing.